point if you don't leave right now.
Our story kicks off with a heavy dose of biblical drama, as Moses tells his people they've committed a great sin by making gods of gold for themselves and worshiping false idols. He then declares his intention to seek atonement from the Lord for their sin. This opening, complete with prayers and a somber tone, hints at the themes of sin, forgiveness, and moral ambiguity that will ripple throughout the entire film. Then, boom, we're thrust into the gritty reality of our protagonist, Henry Broadway. We meet him at the gallows, a place no one wants to be, as his father, Isaac Broadway, is about to be hanged. Isaac, clearly a man whose past is as shadowed as the gallows pole itself, makes a dying request of his son. He tells Henry that his, quote, can't rest as long as Sheriff Butler of Trinity is on this earth. He makes Henry promise to avenge him, to look to God for your reward after he's done what he needs to do. Henry, heartbroken and desperate, gives his word, even begging his paw to tell them you didn't kill those people. The immediate aftermath is bleak. Isaac's body is burned to ward off cholera, leaving only ashes, and Henry is left with a heavy burden and a need for vengeance. Next, we find Henry, still carrying the urn of his father's ashes, on a stagecoach heading to Trinity. He steps into a saloon looking for a drink, only to be met by a mysterious man who offers him one. Henry, ever the straight arrow, politely declines, saying, I don't actually drink, but hang on to that thought, because this kid is about to have a very quick change of heart later on. This stranger, who introduces himself as St. Christopher, instantly picks up on Henry's destination, Trinity. He asks about Henry's father, and Henry, true to his word, reveals his dad was hanged and framed by the sheriff of Trinity. St. Christopher, intrigued, simply offers Henry a gun for his journey, saying, you might need this. This interaction immediately sets a tense, dangerous tone for Henry's mission. Henry finally reaches Trinity, and, true to his father's dying wish, walks straight into what appears to be the sheriff's office. He announces himself to a man, declaring, Sheriff Saul Butler, my name is Henry Broadway, and I'm the one who's gonna kill you. Talk about a dramatic entrance. But here's the first major curveball. The man calmly tells Henry to lift his coat and reveal the badge. His name isn't Saul Butler, it's Gabriel Dove, the new sheriff of Trinity. Gabriel, surprisingly calm, explains that Saul Butler is dead and leads Henry outside to the churchyard, where a headstone confirms it, Saul Butler. Apparently, he was believed to have been killed by a Blackfoot girl named Running Cub. This revelation throws Henry for a loop. His whole purpose, his father's last command, has been rendered moot. Gabriel, a man who clearly values truth over knee-jerk retribution, tells Henry that he doesn't believe Running Cub killed Butler. He advises Henry to keep your ancestry between us, because not every man who's known is loved. In Trinity, Saul Butler was the hero, and Isaac Broadway was the villain. Ouch. Gabriel, seeing Henry's lost and confused state, takes pity on him. He buys Henry a room for the night and tells him to get as far away from this town as you can in the morning, warning him not to, quote, get caught on the wrong side of that coin. Meanwhile, we get a glimpse into Sheriff Gabriel Dove's life. He has a wife, Sarah, and a young daughter, Mabel. Sarah is also pregnant, adding another layer of responsibility and vulnerability to Gabriel's character. In a moment of fatherly softness, Gabriel gives Mabel some candy and tells her not to tell anyone. Of course, Mabel immediately tells her mama, proving that even in the Wild West, a little bit of sugar will always spill the beans. Gabriel's also dealing with the volatile townspeople, particularly a man named Gideon, who fought with Saul in the war and is hell-bent on finding and lynching Running Cub. Gideon even tells Gabriel he heard a fur trapper saw someone like Running Cub up by Strawberry Creek. Gabriel, however, is skeptical, pointing out there are several thousand Blackfoot people. He dismisses Gideon's desire for vengeance as a thirst for blood, not justice. Gabriel, being a responsible and genuinely good lawman, takes it upon himself to warn Running Cub that a posse might be coming for her. He finds her and gives her supplies. Running Cub, strong and defiant, tells him she's ain't leaving because this land holds the spirit of my family. Gabriel respects her decision, realizing he can't force her. Back in town, Henry, instead of leaving as Gabriel advised, finds himself back in the saloon. And remember that I don't actually drink line? Well, now Henry is asking for a glass of whiskey. Talk about a character arc in the making. He encounters Julia, a woman from the saloon who flirts with him. He tells her he doesn't have any money, but she puts her drink on Henry's tab, showing some compassion. This situation quickly sours when Asa, a crude miner, enters and notices Henry's urn, mocking him for bringing his dead daddy here for a drink. Asa then gets rough with Julia, leading to Henry interfering. In a panicked moment, Henry accidentally shoots Asa with the gun St. Christopher gave him. As Asa falls, Henry tries to flee, but Asa's brother, Red, starts chasing him. In the the ensuing chaos, Henry accidentally shoots Red too, leading to 2 accidental deaths. Julia, caught in the crossfire, is also killed. This is a massive turning point, effectively ending Henry's innocence and putting him firmly on the wrong side of that coin Gabriel warned him about. The town erupts. Macaulay, another deputy, rides to Gabriel's house to report the murders of Asa, Red, and Julia. Sarah, distraught that her mama Julia is dead, comes to town, where the townsfolk, especially Gideon, are openly questioning Gabriel's absence and the lack of law and order. Gideon, ever the instigator, even mutters, "If Saul was still alive, we'd have someone dangling by now." Because, justice only exists if someone's hanging by the neck, apparently. It's amidst this chaos that St. Christopher reappears, finding Henry reeling from the accidental killings. St. Christopher, ever the opportunist, has a shocking confession. He knowed your daddy real well. He reveals that during the war, he and Isaac Broadway, Henry's father, stole enough gold to pave the streets of heaven from an old banker in Savannah. The bombshell? Isaac negotiated with some patty rollers for the rights to my person, meaning Isaac Broadway sold St. Christopher back into slavery. Talk about a betrayal. This completely shatters Henry's image of his father as an innocent, framed man. St. Christopher then reveals that Sheriff Saul Butler, who was a lawman in Savannah, also moved to Trinity, looking for that old banker's gold. This suggests that perhaps Butler wasn't framing Isaac, but was after the gold himself. St. Christopher theorizes that Isaac buried that gold under the house he built, which is now the sheriff's house, where Gabriel and Sarah live. Gabriel, now aware of Henry's predicament and the truth about Isaac, re-strategizes. He knows the real villain is the greedy St. Christopher and possibly Saul Butler. He finds Henry, who confesses he didn't kill that woman, Julia, but after that, he can't quite remember. Gabriel takes Henry to his father's house, which now belongs to the town. Gabriel reveals that Saul Butler had tore it down and built it so many times, looking for the gold. Henry connects the dots. Butler must have been looking for the gold, and that's why he killed her parents, Running Cub's parents. Gabriel, committed to justice, reveals his next move. He plans to, quote, clear your name and Running Cubs. This means confronting St. Christopher, the former slave who stole the gold with my paw and now wants it back. The escalating tension reaches a boiling point. St. Christopher, ever the smooth talker, goes to the saloon to gather a new posse. He reveals to the enraged townspeople that Running Cub is up by Strawberry Creek and then drops the real bomb. Henry Broadway, the boy come through here about 2 days ago, is Isaac Broadway's son. He then exposes Isaac's past as a gold thief who stole a shitload of gold when he was a soldier down in Georgia, a crime St. Christopher helped him with. The clincher? He tells everyone the gold is in his house, the same house Sheriff Butler lived in, and the same one y'all done give to the new sheriff. Now, if that ain't a holy twist, I don't know what is. The villain built the house of God and hid his ill-gotten gains right underneath it. This fuels the mob, especially Asa's brothers, who are out for Henry's blood. Meanwhile, Gideon, leading his original posse, finally confronts Running Cub at Strawberry Creek. Gabriel arrives, trying to intervene, explaining that Running Cub is innocent. Running Cub defiantly states, Saul Butler was a murderer, confirming he, quote, killed my father, my mother. Gabriel, in a shocking moment of truth and self-sacrifice, confesses to Gideon and the posse, because I killed him, Saul Butler. He explains that Saul was gonna kill a child, and he stopped him. The confession throws Gideon into a rage, and a gunfight erupts. Tragically, Gideon's own son, Thomas, is caught in the crossfire and killed. The cycle of vengeance, fueled by the lies and the gold, just keeps claiming more lives. The final showdown converges on the house, Isaac Broadway's house, now Gabriel's, and supposedly where the gold is buried. Gideon and his vengeful mob, now led by St. Christopher, attack the house. Inside, Henry, Gabriel, Sarah, Mabel, and Running Cub prepare for a desperate fight. Henry and Running Cub, their names now linked by circumstance and shared injustice, fight alongside Gabriel and Sarah. The fight is brutal, full of gunshots and close calls. St. Christopher's men manage to capture Henry. They try to hang him, echoing Isaac's fate, with Asa's brothers enacting their vengeance. Just as Henry is about to die, Gabriel arrives and saves him. He confronts St. Christopher, who is gloating about taking all of Isaac Broadway's gold. Gabriel, bleeding but resolute, offers St. Christopher a deal. You take your share and you leave. As for Isaac's share, Gabriel tells Henry, we'll take my father's share and we'll put it back in the town. Henry, embracing his newfound moral compass, declares, I'm tired of people dying vying for gold that don't belong to nobody. Saint Christopher, a man of pure self-interest, agrees to take his share and guarantees, "You will never see my black ass again." The battle reaches its tragic climax as Gideon confronts Gabriel. The cycle of violence has claimed too many. Despite Gabriel's pleas to end this madness, Gideon, consumed by the loss of his son and a warped sense of justice, insists, "It's gone too far, my boy. There's no turning back." In a heartbreaking moment, Gideon dies, further highlighting the devastating consequences of revenge. In the aftermath, Henry and Gabriel share a quiet moment. Henry reflects on his journey. "I thought avenging my father was everything, and I thought maybe it was about the gold, but it wasn't." Gabriel, seeing the man Henry has become, encourages him to stay, acknowledging that the house, his birthright, shouldn't be taken from him. He sees that Henry has found his true purpose, not in vengeance or gold, but in building a future and family. The film ends with Henry staying in Trinity with Sarah and Mabel, having chosen a path of responsibility and peace over the destructive legacy of his father. Pours a drink, a full-circle moment from his earlier refusal, and they toast Slainte Math, an Irish blessing for good health. And that, my friends, is the twisted, tragic, yet ultimately redemptive tale of the Unholy Trinity. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the real gold isn't buried under a house, but found in the difficult choices we make to break free from the sins of the past and build a better future.